Hare Krishna Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna.
Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna. Today is Friday.
Hare Hare
It is the 19th of
Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
it is the Narayana Masa Pausha Masa and Krishna Paksha
Hare Ram Hare Ram
Amavasya Tithi.
Krishna Krishna
So
Krishna
there are no Vaishnavas in the calendar.
Ram Ram Hare Hare
And no
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma is offering his praise to the Garbhodakaya Vishnu. And Maitreya Muni is conveying all these prayers to Vijaya. So the Brahma's prayers, he is describing at different angles of the living entity, how he is going to go through sufferings. So if you wanted to see what all kinds of sufferings of a human being in this material world, we can see these Brahma prayers. So it gives every dimension of it. So in the last few sessions, like we see, दैवेन ते हतद्भ्यो भवतः प्रसंगात् सर्व अशुभगोपशमनात् विमुखेन्द्रियाय कुर्वन्ति कामसुकलेशलवाय धीन लोभाविभूत मनसो अकुशलानि शश्वत्. So these are so unfortunate people, they do not take to the hearing of Krishna Katha, which is freeing oneself from all kinds of miseries. Sarva Sarva Ashubha Ukshamanad, Ashubha inauspicious, Ukshamanad, freeing from all kinds of inauspicious things. Vimukendriyaye, they're all not interested in the Krishna Katha. And then they go through so many of sufferings like hunger, thirst, and Tridatubihi, Muhrajamanaha, Sita, Chut Trut Tridatubihi, Ima Muhrajamanaha, Sita Vushna Vata Varshehi Iteretaracha. So many of other things. This is cold, winter, too much of cold, too much of summer, and too much of rain, too much of wind, and many other things. And on top of that, Kama, Dina, and intolerable sexual urges. Kama, Dina, Achyuta, Rushacha Tudirbharena, and also the anger as well. Uncontrollable anger, Sudirbharena, unbearable, Sudirbharena. Sampasito Manu Urkrama Sidatemi. And here Lord Brahma, in such a way, he is watching all those living entities which are going to be created later on. Okay, Sampasito Manu Urkrama Sidatemi. So he is so compassionate. And then further in the next Brahma's prayers, he is again offering another angle of the prayers that the suffering, how the living entity feels when he come into this material world. Whatever he sees, whatever he touches, whatever he smells, whatever he tastes, and everything he thinks that it is for his enjoyment only. So there are different varieties. The way of material world is varieties of creation. He thinks that everything is for myself, for my enjoyment. And then in such a way, until he comes to the point that I am the only servant of the Lord, then these things, the birth, old age, disease, and death, the cycle keep on going on. So otherwise, he will engage himself in the meaningless activities, which are giving only the painful to the living entity. Likewise, Brahma is offering another shloka. We are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 9, verse number 9. Yavat pradakvam idamatmana indriyardha maya balam bhagavato janayesha pasyet tavanna samsati raso pratisankrameta vyaddapi dukkha nevaham vahati kriyardha yavat pradakvam idam. So as long as yavat pradakvam, yavat is as long as pradakvam, the separatism, idam atmana, and of the body. So this body, whatever the body he has got, it is body is existing. Idam atmana indriyardha, for the sense gratification. So the thought of it, the living in the, this is the whole trouble of a living entity. He thinks that it is body is only for enjoyment. Naturally, when we see the children, by taking birth, so they will be doing so many things. Everyone, they want to do only the enjoyable things only, using the body. That is a natural condition. That is the problem starts from very childhood. That is, yavat pradapam idam atmana indriyardha maya balam. Maya balam. It is the influence of the external energy. Influence of the external energy on the living entity. So living entity feels this is for my enjoyment. Bhagavato. This is Maya Balam Bhagavato. This is the influence of the external energy of the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord has two energies. One is internal energy, another one is external energy. Internal energy brings the conditioned souls nearer to the Lord, whereas the external energy, it separates the living entity from the Lord. Bhagavato, Maya Balam Bhagavato, Jana Yesha Pasyat. Jana is the living people, so many of these people, persons, people of this material world. Jana Yesha Pasyat, Yesha or my Lord, Pasyat, and they see the living entity sees like that. Tavanna Samsiti Rasu Pratisankrameta. Tavan, Tavad, so long, and Na is not. Samsritihi is the influence of material existence. Samsritihi asau, that man or person, prasankrameta, can overcome. So here, na prasankrameta, it will be combined like that. Na prasankrameta. He cannot overcome this birth old age disease. This is called samsriti. Until he thinks that this body is only for his enjoyment. And then what he does, Vyaddapi dukkha nivaham. Vyaddapi. Vyadha is the without any meaning, meaningless activities. Dukkha nivaham, multiple miseries. Whatever the activity he goes through, it is only brings miseries to him. Vyaddapi dukkha nivaham vahati. The vahati is bringing those miseries. And kriyadha for fruitive activities. Sometimes we may observe some people, they naturally they are not interested in taking to the studies, and we think that they are a very less intelligent people, something like that. They are very happy not studying, or just they are happy with just only tending the cows and then living happily. But persons who are who thinks that intelligent, they go to studies and getting good marks, they become a good employee. They get good employment and working for corporate company, something like that. Then that person is going through so many of material miseries. So mind is bombarded with so many thoughts. So they use their intelligence, mind and intelligence, for engaging in so many things. At the end, that is only lasting for as long as that entertainment. After that, that it would leave all the impressions within the mind. Those impressions will be left on the mind. But that is intoxication. But when one has to live with a mind, should not be filling with all such kind of conceptions. It should be with only the divine consciousness. But here, the living entity goes through Vyaddapi Dukkha Nivaham Vahati Kriyadha. These are all meaningless things. At the end, what we needed, the body needs a little bit of food to make it fit, to keep it going on. Some food, some clothes, some shelter. But it is not that we impress the society or someone else. For that sake, everyone going through dukkha nivaham. So this is again गृहेषु कोटतन्त्रेषु दुःखतन्त्रेषु अतिन्दितः दुःखं दुःखप्रतीकारं सुखवन्मन्यते गृहे कुर्वन् दुःखप्रतीकारं दुःखप्रतीकारं means he is first of all गृहेषु कोटतन्त्रेषु people with having in the home and everything else गृहेषु कोटतन्त्रेषु they will think that plan so many of those things कोटतन्त्रेषु दुःखतन्त्रेषु अतिन्द्रितः they will only give the pains dukkha and then they will bring all kinds of problems in and around them and then they will try to counteract each and every pain kurvan dukkha pratikaram and then once he succeeds in counteracting that dukkha then he thinks that I am happy. Likewise kurvan dukkha pratikaram sukhavan manyate gurhi sukhavan so he thinks that I am happy. So that these are all vyaddapi dukkha nivaham. But actually, what is really happiness? He does not understand. Real happiness comes from Krishna consciousness. One is surrendering all activities completely. His mind, tad buddhayaha, tad atmanaha, tad nishtaha, tad parayanaha, gachanti apnaravrityam jnani dhota kalmashaha. Krishna says in the Dhyana Yoga 6th chapter. Okay, so here Brahma is mentioning those points. Yavat pradukum idmatman indriyardha maya balam bhagavato janisha pasyet tavanna samsri raso prithrankrameta vyaddapi dukkha nyavham vahati kriyardha. The translation. O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, can I request Lalita Mataji to read the purport, please?
Thank you, Prabhuji. The whole trouble of the living entity in the material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord in the both conditioned and liberated states, but by the influence of the external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. His constitutional position is to devotional himself with the desire of the supreme will. But as long as he does not to do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.55. Prajnati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan is to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental
Concoction.
sorry Prabhuji, it went on mute. Conception. Concoction. The living entity has to devotion himself with the supreme will that will help him to get out of the entanglement of material existence. Sorry, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yes,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely read. Okay, so this is Prabhupada is mentioning here. The whole trouble of the living entity in the material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. Okay, this is what the main trouble. But actually, he is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord. One is the Lord is a person comes to the Supreme Lord, he is directly under the devotional service. He will be acting as per the Vidhi Bhakti. Otherwise, he has to work for the under material nature. Maya Jakshenam Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacharam Hetuna Nenakaunte Jagad Viparivartate. The material nature, it will work on that body according to his nature. Whatever he has got, either good or bad, good or passion or ignorance. So these three material modes of nature, they work on that particular person. That is, Daivihesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dhrutyaya. And here Krishna says that Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Dhrutyaya Mam Yeve Prapadyante Mayam Yetam Tarantite. And it is very difficult to overcome this Maya in this material world. Daivi Hesha Gunam Daivi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Dhrutyaya. So this is Durga Devi who is in charge of this universe. So her influence on the living entity is so strong, no one can escape. Okay, that is the conditioned state. But in every state, the living entity is a servant of either Maya or Krishna. But in spiritual world, is always servant of the Lord. So they are called Bhrutyas. And then, but by the influence of the external energy, the conditional soul thinks himself independent of supremacy of the personality of Godhead. So his consciousnal position is to dovetail himself with the desire of the supreme will. So whenever whatever dovetailing, okay, this is whatever is happening, this is because of Krishna. I'm meeting because of Krishna. I'm meeting prasadam. I'm offering this one because of his mercy. I'm getting grains and milk into my home and then make nice prasadam and offer it to the Lord and take it as a prasadam. Dovetail with the food, and I'm working, everything is just by the mercy of the Lord. So at the end, I get the money and then feed the family because of it is the Lord's arrangement. So in such a way, when we dovetail everything and I'm getting some kind of happiness, it is by mercy of Krishna. I'm getting the troubles by mercy of Krishna. So these troubles are because of my past karma. I might have gone through so many other things, but it is coming, but let me just go through that one. But while I engage myself in the Krishna consciousness, oh, Krishna will give the strength to overcome these troubles. This everything dovetailing himself with the desire of the supreme will. As long as he is doing that, he will be out of these miseries. But as long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on the shackles of material bondage. Otherwise, he will put into the material bondage, thinking that he always uh, getting anger with the other people's behaviors, thinking that he wanted to correct other people, tell other things, because he is forgetting Krishna. That's why he is entangled within the shackles of material bondage. So many of relations, and that's why Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Mam Ekam Saranam Braja. That is Krishna's instruction. But when we forget that instruction, what happens? We act according to our own will, then we stuck up in the entanglement. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan padda manogatan. Prajahati, one has to leave yada kaman, all kinds of the sense gratificatory things. Sarvan padda manogatan. He has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction. Padda manogatan. They're all sprouts from the mind. Mind is the place where yat sankalpa vikalpabhyam vattate kama sambhavaha. Vattate kama sambhavaha. All things comes from the mind because it carries from the previous karma. All these conceptions. And one has to control the mind. Whoever controls the mind, it will become a friend. And if who is become a servant of mind, then he will be a das, das of the material world. He is not Krishna das, he is kind of a Maya das. Okay, so likewise, mind later on, mind become an enemy to that person because it will drag him into so many of other things, problems. Okay, and then further, the living entity has to dovetail himself with the supreme will. Okay, that is needed. Otherwise, it will be entanglement. that will help him to get out of the entanglement of material existence. Okay, likewise, Srila Prabhupada is describing here. So one has to, whatever is happening in this world, and either bhavah karoti, vikaroti, prutak swabhavaha. And everything, it is bhavah karoti, vikaroti, prutak swabhavaha. And everything is the in the Prahlad Maharaja's prayers, I think, on the other day, Usha Mataji was describing that one. So this is Sanchodi Hatha Dakilam Bhavataha Surupam. Everything, it is the Lord's external energy. We are just part and parcel. If we consider our body, there is one germs on top of our body. They think that okay, this place is mine on this skin, and another germ on another part of the body. Oh, my wall is very big, but actually everything is part of our body itself. We're looking at these germs, and then we don't get any angry because they are part and they are not disturbing us too much. But when they are giving and making us to itchy feeling, then we feel we wanted to cleanse that part. So likewise, when we are in this material world, the entire world is in the body of Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. That lotus flower comes, and that lotus flower, the stem of the lotus flower, within that stem itself, all the 14 planet systems exist. We can imagine how big the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is. Lord is all pervading, and whenever the living entities are aligning their lives with the will of the Supreme Lord, they will live happily. If they are against the Lord, then Lord will come and then cleanse themselves. Paritrana sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. But everything is happening in this material world. Yasmin yato yedhi yericha yasya yasmad. Yasmayata yadbhuta yastu aparaha parova. Bhavah karoti vikaroti pratak swabhavaha. Sanchoditha tadakilam bhavataha swarupam. Everything by the Lord. What is there in our control? There is no further thinkings, this one or that one, no need of further conclusion. This particular slok itself by Prahlad Maharaj, he says that everything is your external energy of my dear Lord, likewise he says. Okay, so this is how the material world is going on, but living entity, he thinks that is the old trouble of a living entity. Okay, so can I request dear devotees, kindly follow line by line and then you recite. Yavat prutakam idam atmana indriyadha
यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदम् आत्मन इन्द्रियार्था
माया बलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत्
मायाबलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत्
तावन्न संस्थिरसो प्रतिसंक्रमेत
तावन्न
संश्रुतिरसौ
तावन्तसंस्थिरो असु
प्रतिसंक्रमेत
प्रस्थित्यन्तक्रमेत
यद्दापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्थम्
व्यथार्पि दुःखनिवहं वहति
यद्धाति
क्रियार्थ
दुःखनिवर्हं वहति क्रियार्थ
Once again, यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदम् आत्मना इन्द्रियार्थ
यावत्
प्रतापम् इदम् आत्मन इन्द्रियार्थं
माया बलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत्
मायाबलं
मायाबलं
भगवतो
भगवतो
जन
जन
ईश
ईश पश्येत्
पश्येत्
तावन्न संस्थिरसो प्रतिसंक्रमेत
तावन्न
तावन्न संस्थिर
संश्रुतिरसौ
आसो
प्रतिसंक्रमेत
प्रतिसंक्रमेत
यद्दापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्थम्
व्यथार्पि दुःखनिवहं वहति
वहति
क्रियार्थ
क्रियार्थ
Once more, last time. यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदमात्मन इन्द्रियार्थ
यावत् पृथक्त्वम्
पृथक्त्वम् इदम्
आत्मा
आत्मन
इन्द्रियार्थ
माया बलं भगवतो जनयीष्य पश्येत्
माया
माया
बलं
बलं
जनयिष
भगवतो जनईशपस्ते
तावन्न संस्थिरसौ प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत
तावन्न संश्रुतिरसौ
प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत
यथा
निसङ्क्रमेत
व्यर्थापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्थम्
व्यथार्पितुकानिवार्य
वहति
वहति
प्रियार्ता
क्रियार्था
तथा
Very nice. Okay, so these are again tongue twisting words. So yavat pruthakvam idam atmana indriyadha maya balam bhagavato janayesha pasyet tavanna samsritirasau pratisankrameta vyaddapi dukkha nivaham vahati kriyadha यावत् पृथक्त्वमिदम् आत्मन इन्द्रियार्थ माया फलं भगवतो जनईश पश्येत् तावन्न संस्थिरसो प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत व्यर्थापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्थम्. Okay, can I request Saranya Mataji to go first, please?
हरे कृष्ण यावत् पृथक् यादव यावत् पृथक्त्वमिदमात्मन इन्द्रियार्थ मायाबलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत् तावन्न संसृतिरसो प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत व्याताभिदुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्थ.
That's so beautiful.
कृष्ण.
Jayaved Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Yavat pruthakvam idam atmana indriyartha maya balam bhagavato jana isha pasyet tavan samsrutirsau prati sankrameta vyatharpi dukha nivaham vahati kriyartha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Usha Mataji, please.
हरे कृष्ण यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदमात्मनेन्द्रियार्थ माया बलं भगवतो जनैः तावन् संस्कृतिरसौ प्रतिसङ्क्रमेत व्यर्थापि दुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियात्.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhavati Sachi Mataji, if you are available. Okay. Lalita Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी यावत् प्रत्वम् इदम् आत्मान इन्द्रियार्थ माया बलं भगवतो जनईशपास्ते तावन्न संसृतिर् असुर प्रतिशङ्करमेता व्यर्थापि दुःख निवाहं वहति क्रियार्थ. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Very
Please
nice.
forgive me my mistakes.
Thank you, Mataji. Nicely recited. Okay, Asha Mataji, please.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदम् आत्मन इन्द्रियार्थ मायाबलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत् तावन्न संसृतिरसौ प्रतिसङ्क्रमेद व्यर्थाभिदुःखनिवहं वहति क्रियार्था.
Okay, so beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. And Devahish Prabhuji, would you like to type?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. तावत् प्रक्रिया इदम् आत्मा इंद्रियाता माया बलम भगवतो जन ईश्वर प्रसिद्ध तावत् न संसृत अशु प्रतिसंक्रमिता इवाति दुःखानिवहो भवति कर्मणिता.
Hey Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Prabhavati Sachi Mataji, are you available?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm just getting ready to go to work. Sorry.
Sure, Mataji. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So yavat pradokum idamatmani indriyadha Maya bhalam bhagavato janaisha pasyet. Tavanna samkiraso pritisankrameta vyaddapi dukkanyaham vahati kriyadha. Okay, we shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Satsvarupa, January 21st, 1971, Allahabad. Can I request Sarinya Mataji to read this list, please?
Hare Krishna. My dear Satsvarupa, please accept my blessings and offer the same to your good wife Jadurani. I am in due receipt of your letter dated 7th January 1971, along with the enclosed articles as well as the ISKCON Press newsletter dated 5th January 1971. I beg to thank you very much for the magazine interview. You have so rightly said it's a hellish life without Krishna. These words of yours have pleased me so much. Actually, it is a fact, and one who has become so disgusted with material life is actually advanced in Krishna consciousness. This is the first class propaganda, and it will be a hammer blow to the proponents of materialism and atheism. I am so glad that you are feeling and speaking like this, and I thank you very much. The article appeared to be in a nice magazine, so if you can get further articles and interviews published in the magazines, that will be a great boon to our movement. It is nice to hear that the sannyasi staying there is sacrificing his Mayavadi philosophy and willing to accept the regulative principles of devotional service. I have received his letter and will reply him separately. So far as ISKCON Press moving to New York is concerned, if Advaita feels it is benefit the press, then why not? From your description, it appears that Advaita has found a better place, and if he is taking on the responsibility of expanding the press, then he should definitely go there. For technical matters, let Advaita go on working independently. He is certainly competent. So far as decision making regarding contents of publications, etc., that can be done conjointly. It appears from the press report that progress is going on with Gita and, and second canto, but slowly it will be nice if you please accelerate it. In answer to the artist questions, number one, simply paint the Vishnu Murti in the heart. You can make the individual soul a very small spark or spark like. Two, Vishnu has more than thousands of arms, but in for this picture of tortoise Avadara, where Vishnu is sitting on top of the hill, he should be shown with four hands only. We should only paint four-handed Vishnu and not consult Kalyana Kalpataru, which is not always authorized. Number three, yes, if you would like to send the paintings of my Guru Maharaj here to India, why not? 4. Yes, Krishna can be shown seated next to Arjuna on the chariot when universal form is displayed. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji, from this letter?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So the first thing is like Prabhupada was so happy when Satyarupa, the devotee was giving an interview and in which he was mentioning very um, confidently about Krishna consciousness philosophy, and he was saying it's hellish life without Krishna. So Prabhupada was so happy. So Prabhupada was saying is like when we understand what is like the difficulties and one become disgusted with the material life, then only one can advance in Krishna consciousness. So if they have like any material hankering or any material goals to be achieved, then following Krishna consciousness philosophy may be difficult. But when one is fully convinced that the material world is nothing and it is completely like miseries only, we are not realizing it, then one can advance in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada was appreciating that, giving such wonderful statements, which comes from like practical lives also. And Prabhupada wanted to like give more interviews and published in like established magazines, so that it is like a great boon to our movement, because when people, it's like a propaganda. Uh, to reach into the people who actually need this philosophy, the Krishna consciousness. And another thing is like one Mayavadi philosophy, like sannyasi who was staying in the with the devotees, was also ready to accept the regulative principles and devotional services. So Prabhupada was very happy that slowly, um, when they see like how the Krishna consciousness devotee, how this movement is happening, how people devotees are living slowly, they were also like coming to the thing. And another thing is like Prabhupada was saying like Prabhupada wanted the ISKCON Trust to be like established or to be advanced. So whatever needed, it doesn't matter. Prabhupada was happy to do that. So at the end of the day, it's like it has to be like come into a good situation, and so that we could be able to print whatever we want. So Prabhupada was not against anything. What devotees was feeling is good for the trust, Prabhupada was happy to do that. And also at the same time, Prabhupada was like how devotees feel like confident or comfortable to do the printing work. So the devotees who wanted to work like independently, let them do, or as like if they want to work as a group, let them like do. So at the an end of the day, the thing has to be like the books has to become, and the publications and all has to be like work like conjointly. That was what Prabhupada was mentioning. And Prabhupada wanted to accelerate the progress printing work also. And another like the answers to the questions, maybe Jatrani Mataji asked about the pictures, like how to draw the pictures. Prabhupada was giving the answers. And there Prabhupada was like for the, I think for the Varaha Murti, tortoise of Avadara, Kurma Avadara, Prabhupada was giving like, actually they have thousands of arms, but give the pictures are like four and answers to their questions, Prabhu. Yeah, yeah, that's what's my takeaway, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Nicely explained. Okay, any other comments, dear devotees? David Mataji? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's not a question, sorry, it's not a comment, it's a question about Kalyana Kalpataru. So is that the thousands of arms? Is that how it's referred? Is that the word for that, please?
So I think I do not have much insight on the Kalyan Kalpataru, but here when Vishnu sometimes as part of the Samudra Manthan, during that time the Lord has appeared as a 1,000-handed form and then sit on top of the mountain and holding the mountain with his 1,000 arms, so that that mountain is kept on top of the tortoise, and then Lord is sitting on top of the hill one side so that it does not tilt. So that is the main, but for the picture sake, just 4 hands, otherwise it may be possibly it may congested. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning, and then that is how I understand. But sometimes Vishnu has got 4 hands, sometimes 8 hands, sometimes thousands of hands. So it depends on the context.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
But 4 hands, it will be very, otherwise it may be too much congested possibly for the pictures.
Yes, but for the like Virat Swarup, that would be different, wouldn't it, than this?
Yes, that is different.
Yes, yeah.
That is innumerable legs and innumerable hands, tummies, mouths, like that. But here, in the 1,000-handed form of the Vishnu, there sitting on the it is the Mandrachala mountain, and which is acting as a rod to churn the milk portion. Lord is sitting and on top of the mountain, holding the mountain with all his hands so that it does not fall, and that is the part. Okay, so it's a very beautiful pastime, Samudra Manthan. most desirable thing to hear. Okay, any other comments?
We just wanted to say thank you to Sharanya Mataji. Thank you.
Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Okay, so in whatever the capacity we expand the Krishna consciousness or is compressed to increase the book distribution, do it everything conjointly with cooperation. Okay, so one takeaway point from here, and also Mayavadi Sannyasi, he is ready to accept the regulative principles of devotional service. This is called ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मन सोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्. Madbhaktim labate param. One who is in the Brahmabhuta Prasanatma, he will get the Madbhaktim labate param, the devotional service. Okay, so that is from that statement. Okay, so then that's all my takeaway points from this letter. Okay, from the announcements point of view, so from our Sangha perspective, there are no events today. Today I have got a chat session Bhagavatam at 7:45 p.m. And then apart from that, from our Sangha, 6:30 p.m., it is a daily evening japa session. Okay, so that's all from announcements. And the devotees, if you have got any updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly do so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
No, it's just a question on YouTube.
Yeah.
We have to pay more to get rid of the adverts?
I think yes, Mataji. So there is a annual charge for that one. So sometimes it is disturbing. It happens only for the Mayapur video. Yes.
Yes, yeah, I didn't see it for the manner one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It is some people they purposefully do it.
I was just thinking that for you you have to be alert all the time, and that probably takes you away from your concentration as well. I just thought if there is anything we can do to support all of us.
It's a good that method. So even I have contemplated on it, but actually if we just do that commit annual charges, we need to raise again so many other things will come into the picture. But only thing is just only have a picture, maybe that would be sufficient, and one picture may be sufficient, I thought.
Yes, yeah.
Otherwise just stick to the only manar ones or only the live ones. Otherwise when we see those things, just only the picture keep.
Yeah, where there are too many adverts, then it's not fair on you as well. So that's what I was thinking.
Thank you, Mataji, for kind thought. It needs maybe 130 pounds, something like per annual charges. Okay, we don't keep that one for long, and then maybe we'll skip to Bhaktivedanta Manar like that. Okay, thank you so much for that input, Mataji. Any other comments? Okay, if there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Have a Krishna conscious day, everyone. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री